Ancient wisdom of Vastu. Elevate your living and make informed decisions with the insights and strategies shared by Nagaraj Annaiah. Stay tuned for an enlightening experience.
Hello, Beria. Happy Friday. I'm your own Realtor Nagaraj Annaiah. Today we are joined by Ashima Dugal. Hi, Ashima. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Nagaraj. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Hello, listeners. If you're listening to the first time, the show name is called a Real Estate Playbook, where the experts come in and we discuss about a lot of options on the real estate. Today, Ashima from Dugal Law Firm, we are talking about immigration real estate, immigration related. And if you have anything on the questions on the real estate, also you can give to us. Anything on the real estate, I would be happy to help you out on anything on immigration. Ashima is the expert in there, so we can talk about immigration. So our studio line numbers are 408 912 5038. 408 912 5038. If you have any questions on the immigration, especially Ashima, now is a season about H-1B lottery, right? The lot of things happening on the H-1B thing right now. So can you tell us about the H-1B lottery happening right now?
Yes, Nagaraj, it is H-1B season. You know, every March 19th around, it's the coming of spring. But for immigration, both attorneys and immigrants, March is all about H-1Bs and new H-1B lottery. It started on March 6th and it's ending on March 22nd at 9 a.m. Pacific. So that's next Friday.
So you have just 7 days, listeners. If you are one of them who want to interested on applying on H-1B and would like to understand about all this H-1B lottery, and if you have any questions on the immigration, like you might be interested in knowing about the more about the green card, and if you are like knowing about any other thing on the H-1B or anything on the Bay Area real estate, you can give us a call. I'm talking to Ashima Dugal and myself, Nagaraj Annaiah, the Bay Area Realtor. Today, we are talking all about the H-1B stuff because H-1B lottery is going on, and we're talking about that. Our studio line numbers are 408 912 5038. So, Ashima, I think let's touch upon on the H-1B changes also this time, right? I think that would be also beneficial for a lot of listeners who was listening to the first time.
Sure. So the changes with the H-1B lottery system was the elimination of multiple registrations. So last year, a lot of people in the many hundreds, 400, applied with multiple employers, thus increasing their chance of selection. USCIS, Citizenship and Immigration Services, went after some of those employers.
Okay.
And so now they said no more. You cannot do it anymore.
Oh, that's bad, very bad for some of them. Listeners, I'm Nagaraj Annaiah. We're talking to Ashima Dugal from the Dugal Law Firm, and today we're talking about H-1B and immigration related. And our show is all about educate and enrich on anything on the real estate connected. Especially the immigration plays a lot of important factor because a lot of immigrants come for various visas or like on various things to the US, but they don't know what are the other alternatives also. And if your nephews or somebody is applying for an H-1B, or even the independents, right, like might be interested to apply for an H-1B and would like to know and have any questions on the immigration, you can give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 408 912 5038. This is the number only for this show. Later we'll give out our numbers where you can connect to us if you have any questions on the immigration or a real estate. Okay, Ashima, what is the I heard like you're offering some very, very good discounts to our listeners out there on the H-1B. What is that? Would like to know about that more on that.
Yes, that's just for your show. Your listeners will get registration done in the next week for $100.
Wow. Listeners, we would like to know what is that $100 fees offering is like basically what you can get benefited from that. You can give us a call or you can reach out to Ashima also. Our studio line numbers are 408 912 5038. Today we are talking all about the immigration, and we are touching upon the H-1B lottery related, how it is, how it's going on, right? And I think, as Ashima mentioned, March 22nd is the last date, right, Ashima? If I'm
That's correct, 9 a.m. So really it's March 21st in the evening, unless you're up at midnight registering your employees.
Okay, so like maybe can we touch upon like what are the documents might be needed for the or like I think we'll come back to the what if you're not selected in the lottery, right?
Yes.
As an employer, what are the documents might be needed, Ashima?
Sure. So to just simply register, you
Mm-hmm.
just need the employee's passport information. You
Okay.
do need a lot of information about the company.
Oh, a lot.
You need to put your federal employment identification number, which is the FEIN,
Mhm.
and lots of other employer documents. Looks like we have one caller.
Yeah. Hi, welcome to the Real Estate Playbook.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, welcome to the Real Estate Playbook. May I know your name, please?
I have a question related to the immigration.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So I just got a citizenship, and then what I know that I can sponsor some of the blood relatives, like brother, sisters. Can I do nephews and niece, or other brother or sisters?
Ashima, it's
Uh,
what's your name? Sorry, we didn't catch your name in the early.
Manu.
I'm Manoj. Yeah, Ashima, it's for you.
well, congratulations on becoming a U.S. citizen. You are able to sponsor, you mentioned, brothers and sisters, your brothers and sisters, yes, and your parents, and children and spouses, but unfortunately, nieces and nephews you cannot sponsor. So the way you might want to consider doing that is making a long-term strategy, which is that you would have to first sponsor another family member like your parents,
Mm-hmm.
who then
Okay.
sponsor their their other child, your sibling, and then those nieces and nephews immigrate with their parents. It is a long-term process. It can take 5-10 years, but sponsoring a U.S. citizen sponsoring their brother and sister can take 20 years.
20 years right now?
Yes.
Wow. So good to know about that, Ashima. Like, do you have any, Manoj, do you have any other follow-up question? And congratulations for
No.
you being a citizen here.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it's the wait line, especially for the siblings or anything is, I think, as you said, it's a long wait line. Listener, if you're one of them and if you have any questions on the H-1B and if you have any questions on the immigration related, we have an expert today, Ashima. We are talking about all of the H-1B because in H-1B season. And as Ashima mentioned, March 22nd, 9 a.m. I'm just repeating again what we discussed. 9 a.m. is the deadline. And if you are one of the aspirant like to apply for the H-1B and would like to know how to do it, or like if you have any questions on this, because it's very, very important for a lot of techies or like a lot of dependents around Shima, like especially like a lot of them are on the H4EAD. Sometimes they can't get an H4EADs because of so many reasons, right? Or like from H4EAD to go join to H1B, this is the path or this is the time they can do it. So if you are one of them, you can give us a call. And today we are talking to expert Ashima Dugal on immigration related. And myself, Nagaraj Annaiah, and this show is Real Estate Playbook. It's all about educate and enrich on the real estate. And what if you're not selected in the lottery, Ashima? That's would like to know about that in the H-1B, right? There's a lot of people going to apply, and if you're not selected, what is the alternatives?
That's a great question, and it is a concern. You need to start making a plan for that possibility. Last year, 700,000 H-1B candidates registered, and there are only 85,000 spots. So the chances were very low last year. And so a lot of people now are reapplying. If you have a STEM OPT, which means you graduated from a master's degree in the US, you likely have 3 years. But if the odds are so low, 10%, 20%, then you need to come up with a plan B. So your question, Nagaraj, what are some of the other alternatives or options? I think the one I try to build in my office for many of my clients with a US master's degree is I start talking to them about the O1 visa soon after graduation.
Okay. See, I think a lot of listeners doesn't understand the value of the immigration, right? Like, because when they're on H-1B, they just concentrate working onto the same company and they never think about what are the alternatives, right? Because when everything is going on the ship, right, everything is okay. But if something ship cracks or something happens, what are the alternatives? They should be knowing that. So, because you're always dependent on the H-1B, and if your H-1B is lost, I think Ashima can remind me like within how many days they can go back, right?
60 days.
Within a 60 days, right? So listeners, we are talking to expert on the immigration. If you have any questions on the immigration or an H-1B, you can give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 408-912-5038. And myself, Nagaraj Annaiah, your Bay Area Realtor, we are talking all today about the immigration front. So it's good to know that like if you're not selected, O1 is there an alternative, and I think we touched upon always on the EB1A also, that we'll revisit again at the end of the show. But can you like basically the one more alternative you mentioned is a O1, but what is the other alternatives like
Sure.
what
I'll tell you about 6 options that are more commonly done. The one for Indians is going to be seeking an H4 status if you are married or you're planning to get married.
Mhm.
With the H4, you can get work authorization only if your spouse has an I-140 approved. Then you can get an EAD.
Okay.
The other option is seeking employment at a CAP exempt employer. These are often universities, hospitals that are nonprofits, some research organizations. That may not be your first choice. I
What
know
is it? Can you repeat again? What's the second one you said?
working at a CAP exempt
Oh, exempt.
employer.
Okay. Oh,
CAP exempt, meaning they don't have to go through the lottery. So there are certain employers in the US that are exempt from the lottery. They
oh.
can hire you as an H-1B worker at any time of the year. They don't have to wait until March. You don't have to wait until October to start working. And there's no limit. There's no cap of 65,000, 85,000. So these are universities. Usually hospitals might be exempt,
Okay.
nonprofit research organizations.
How do you identify that organization, Sashima? Like, do you have the list? If the listeners are interested, they can reach out to you.
Yeah, we can do that analysis, but just know that most universities would qualify. So, I had a client with an MBA who missed the cap 2 years in a row. And so last year I told him this exact advice, look for a cap exempt employer. And he was a data scientist and ended up at Columbia University, and he loves it.
Wow.
So
Listeners, did you know about all this? If you have any questions, and it will be kind of a community service also. If you have your only, if it doesn't mean like if you already called, no need to call again. You can give us a call. Nothing question is like smaller because it's always an helping out each other. Our studio line numbers are 408-912-5038. I'm talking to Ashima, the immigration expert, on today on all about the immigration. So do give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 408-912-5038. And all these recordings will be uploaded on my YouTube channel.
So, Nagaraj, I wanted to just continue the conversation about cap exempt. So the law is that if you are working for a cap exempt employer on an H-1B, you are then permitted to get a second job for a cap subject, meaning a normal company.
Okay.
So then, you may not want to work 2 full-time jobs, obviously,
Okay.
but that is a workaround to the cap.
If we have one caller, let's take it. Welcome to Real Estate Playbook. Hello. Welcome to Real Estate Playbook. Can you please turn off this radio volume? I think we lost the caller. Yeah, do please give us a call back, please. Whenever you call us, do turn off the radio volume so that we can basically talk to you. It's a humble request so that it is basically it helps us out others also. Yeah, it's good to know, Ashima. You can continue on that second option. Yeah.
Sure. So we touched on, I mentioned the O1, H4,
Mhm.
H-1B cap exempt. And of course, I think most of the listeners do know about going back to school and then pursuing maybe first semester, OPT or
Okay.
CPT, excuse me. So whether you want to get a second master's degree in a related field or a different field or a PhD. So that is an alternative as well. You have to do it very cautiously
Mm-hmm.
because USCIS would look at that. Like, what is your intention with first semester CPT? Are you going back to a school to be a student full time, or are you
Yeah, one
seeking?
caller. Let's take it, Ashima. Yeah. Hi, welcome to the Real Estate Playbook.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hey,
welcome to the.
this is Avdesh here. I just wanted to know. My employer said that they are going to file for my H1, but how can I make sure that they actually are going to file it or they filed?
Well, that's a good question. You will not get any confirmation yourself from USCIS, but you could ask for the information that it was submitted, a screenshot or something. There is a document that they can print out and send to you or save as a PDF and send to you. Now, they should be asking for your passport information. Maybe they already have it, but if they don't, then they're going to need it in order to register you.
Do you have any other follow-up question?
Yeah, so they did ask me a passport and I provided them, and they also said that we are not going to provide any proof of it. But I mean, I don't know if they can or they cannot. They can provide us the proof, right? If it's not like they cannot, correct?
I mean, under immigration law, I mean, there's certainly no requirement that they have to, provide proof to you, but under your employment agreement with them, you could certainly suggest that it's covered under your agreement. They made a offer to you that they would register you, and maybe that was part of your, desire to work for them, negotiations. And so you can ask for proof. Absolutely. They can show you the records when this USCIS account.
I see.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in. Yeah, Ashima, let's revisit. Listeners, you're listening to Real Estate Playbook, and we're talking to Ashima, and today we're talking all about the H-1B stuff. You can give us a call if you have any questions on the immigration or a real estate. Our studio line numbers are 408-912-5038, and we are talking about the alternatives when the H-1B doesn't get basically accepted in the lottery. Yeah, go ahead, Ashima, please.
So we talked about F1, going back to school as an F1 student visa holder, first semester CPT.
Yeah.
That is something you should talk to an immigration lawyer about before you pursue that. You need to talk to the university. I would generally recommend second semester CPT.
Okay.
But if you don't want to lose, your job and you want that continuation of first semester CPT, you just need to document that you are seriously taking classes. I mean, anyone can register full time, but that's not enough documentation that your intent is to be a student.
Yeah, let's take the one more call. I welcome the Real Estate Playbook.
Hey, hi. My question is more related to green card backlog than H-1B. I'm not sure if this is the right show to ask.
Yeah, please go ahead. Your name, please.
Yeah, my name is Pratibha, and the question is more about, green card backlog. So, for Indian citizens, is there any hope for EB2, EB3, or they should start looking for alternatives with the recent everything going on?
There has been over the last couple of years an increase in individuals applying in EB3, EB2, and even EB1. first of all, the backlog or the visa bulletin and your eligibility for green card is based on your country of birth, not so much citizenship, but I'm assuming, you know, most of the audience here is born in India. So I cannot tell you, no one can predict what will happen in the future. I would say that because of all of the layoffs, a lot of individuals lost their employer sponsorship of green card. They still have the priority date, but if their priority date is coming eligible or current in the next year or two, and they don't have a new perm, a new I-140 approved, they cannot apply for that green card. So there's a chance, a possibility that those numbers will be unused.
Okay. And the second, I think she was asking about other alternative. I think she can consider EB1A also, Ashima. What do you think?
Absolutely. So the alternative that most of my clients pursue is EB1A. It is faster. It's a 2-3 year backlog right now, but it is faster. And it's a self-petition, which means you don't need a company to sponsor you. Another option is EB5, investing in a regional center or your own company, a minimum amount, usually $800,000 or $1 million. And you can pursue a green card that way as well.
So if you have not watched that recordings, Pratibha, do go to the Nagaraj Annaiah's channel, and we uploaded all the recordings there, and you can reach out to Ashima also how to apply for EB1A. And she does the evaluation of an EB1A also, and she's providing a great discounted price if you're using my coupons. And there is a links already available on the YouTube channel also. Do look for it, Pratibha. Do you have any follow-up question on that?
No, that is all. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and best of luck for your journey, Pratibha. And as Pratibha was mentioning, there's a lot of people going through it on these things. I think let's finish off the alternatives, Ashima. Other couple of alternatives what we're discussing in.
Sure. So the main thing that you can try to pursue is the O1A visa. And it's actually better than an H-1B in many respects because it has a 3-year duration. You can have your own company, your own startup, which you can own 100%. You can work for multiple employers, but you do need to show that you are eligible. You have to have maybe a leading or critical role at a company. There are 8 criteria, so that's 1. If you have any publications, that might count. If you have done any judging work, such as peer review or judging a startup contest, a pitch contest, that might count. Membership in associations. So if you don't think you're eligible right now, but you're in your first year or second year of your OPT STEM, well, spend 6 months, 9 months working on your O1 eligibility. You can build it. So if you miss the cap again this year or next year, you have an option already, which is the O1.
Yeah, listeners, we're talking to Ashima Dugal, myself, Nagaraj Annaiah. This show is all about educate and enrich. Today we discussed about the H-1B lottery stuffs, what's happening in around a deadline. Ashima, let's quickly touch about, like, we have just 40 seconds. I think we can just H-1B lottery stuff, the deadline and other stuff we can revisit. So it might be helpful for the listeners out there.
Sure. So H-1B lottery is happening now. Deadline is next Friday, 9 a.m. Please reach out. I am offering $100 to register, and my phone number is 650-569-0333.
And when you call, you tell her that, like, you listen to this show, and all these recordings will be uploaded on my YouTube channel, Nagaraj Annaiah's channel. Do go watch out for that. And if you have any follow-up questions, do reach out to Ashima, and she's providing a great discounts for all the listeners out there. And thank you so much, Ashima, for joining in there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Bali 92.3